Like most people, when I started podcasting and uploading my content to YouTube, I had no idea what I was doing. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this podcast. Well, it's not that I become an expert or anything like that, but that was never the goal. Okay. It was just about gathering insights along the way and somehow applying the lessons. Is this recording? It's not. It's not recording. I think it is recording. I hope it is recording. Let's check it out. Back to the beginning. I was fortunate to have a friend who is a successful podcaster, and he was patient. He had the nerves to answer all my questions. And I will never forget him telling me that my podcast focus would shift over time. And that's not just normal, that's a positive and good thing. He was spot on, but neither of us could ever anticipated that I would spend my first podcast anniversary at a hospital for a surgery. A simple one, but still, surgery is surgery. Here are my 7 takeaways. Number 1, have a plan, including one when life has different plans. Now, I'm all about planning. My good friends, girlfriend, family, they know this very well. I'd say even my cat has already noticed it himself. It's just impossible to hang out with me without realizing I'm the planning type. Over time, though, and long before this episode in my life, I became more flexible and not as frustrated when life has other ideas. For my own sanity, and certainly for the well-being of those around me, cat included. So this experience reinforced that it's okay for the plan to take a different path. In other words, not everything has to be evident or crystal clear from the start. Number 2, every obstacle is an opportunity, or at least an experience. Right. A week before my surgery, a good friend of mine who had gone through a serious medical procedure, he told me something that stuck with me. He said something like, the best way to handle life's unexpected turns is to see them as experiences. Now, let's unpack that. What exactly is an experience? The way I see it, it's an encounter with the unknown, an event that brings endless lessons. Some might say that I'm just making this up, and perhaps I am to an extent, but I don't care. I'd rather remain curious and open to new situations than stuck in that same dull routine. The road is way more malleable than we think and than we were taught to believe. And so are we. So turn those obstacles into opportunities. Number 3, don't take your next episode or anything in life for granted. Now, this is not about technology or internet provider or that guest who goes to you at the last minute. This is about you, right? Showing up truly, authentically, fully. So if you start giving up, you may have noticed that the road will put less effort too. It's like any other relationship. The less you care, the more likely you are to be left behind. So keep showing up, especially in those days when you don't feel like. You never know when it won't be up to you anymore. Number 4, more humor, less self-pity. I'm actually going to scratch that to huge humor, zero self-pity. So I didn't have any big plans for my first podcast anniversary. The surgery was scheduled about, I think it was 50 days in advance. And somehow that slipped past even my planning obsession. So when I booked the pre-op appointment with the nurse, I didn't think about it either. I was too busy feeling down about missing my dad's 77th birthday because I'm not about to fly. Then it hit me. I'll be in the hospital on January 28th. Yes, January 28th. That's the day I launched my first podcast. And somehow, the calendar-obsessed guy has completely overlooked the coincidence. More on the concept of coincidence in a moment. My first reaction, I need to joke about it. If I don't make out of the surgery, at least my podcast will go down in history. Maybe that's what it takes to go viral. As we know, history is full of people who only became famous after they are gone. Number 5, there are coincidences. We just don't always know why. Now, I'm not going to pretend that everything happens for a reason or that the universe has a master plan. That's just self-help nonsense. It might get you likes and claps, but to me, just cliche and crap. Instead, I see my situation as a simple and somehow innocent coincidence, one shaped by a series of actions and decisions that I made myself and others over time. It happened, bam! Now, what matters is, what do I do with it? How we got here isn't irrelevant, but it's far less important than how we respond to the present. Number 6, appreciate your achievements and aim for more. Okay, one thing is for sure, if I'm spending my first podcast on anniversary, it means I kept my podcast going for a year. And, well, if that's not an achievement, consider that statistic. Only 5% of podcasters make it past episode 25. I hit 49 just before surgery, and my 5th happened yesterday. It was a live show Q&A, and I invite you to have a look. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, here's another invite for you too. Number 7, embrace surprises. I never expected to have a podcast in my life. I never expected that its first anniversary will coincide with my first surgery in my life. And I never expected that my first ever YouTube video will be about that coincidence. So I turn this to you now. Now it's on you. It's your turn. How has your podcast or any other project taken an unexpected turn? What surprises has life thrown off you that you ended up embracing? Put that in the comments, and I talk to you soon.